Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Monday Night Nitro in the Monday Night Wars. This is the third week we've gone over the Nitro and Raw ratings and reviews. I'm Brett Mix, Macho Wrestling 101. Hit like and subscribe right now for my channel. We go over history of wrestling videos every day like this, and we also stay up to date with Raw and SmackDown and the like. So what do we have here? We have the September 25th, 1995 edition of Nitro. It's the fourth episode ever. I'm not going to make you wait. It's the third time they've ever fought WWF in the Raw ratings war. I'm not going to make you wait. The WCW's first win came this week, and it came at a 2.7, a whole 0.8 ahead of the WWF. For the lead, the WWF didn't last long. The exact opposite of last week's numbers, where the WWF got a 2.7 and WCW got a 1.9. This week, the WCW gets 2.7, and it's the WWF with 1.9. So the commentators were Steve McMichael, Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and welcome to the fourth Nitro, but the third week that these two juggernauts go at it in Raw and Nitro. This was live at the Florence Civic Center in Florence, South Carolina on TNT. The Nitro debut primetime for Disco Inferno. The first match is Alex Wright versus the Disco Inferno. Bischoff wastes no time saying we're going to hear from Hulk Hogan after the match. He knows he wants to get on it early so you don't go to the WWF. Alex Wright hit a reverse elbow and tossed to the outside by the Disco Dancing Fool. A spear and a dropkick by Inferno and a hard Irish whip to the corner and a near fall. Disco thrown to the outside by Alex Wright. A nice crossbody by Disco to Wright. Disco Inferno went to the ropes and hit another reverse elbow. He leveled him with an arm drag takedown, and then Disco Inferno started to dance in the ring. Alex Wright hit him with right hands and a stiff European uppercut. A reverse elbow and a near fall. A lot of near falls in this opening match. Alex Wright hit by the Disco Inferno with a hard forearm, then a side suplex, then more dancing. Alex Wright catches the Disco Inferno off guard with a backslide, pinning him with a combination of 4 minutes exactly. The Disco Inferno claiming he held his tights, but decent match for the time it got. So I rated it 2 stars with Alex Wright defeating the Disco Inferno at 4 minutes. Hogan's backstage. We hear a promo with him with Jimmy Hart and the World Heavyweight title he's holding the world title. They talked about what the Giant has done to him and how he is building him into a bigger monster truck, a machine that can embarrass his machine, as he's going to put the title on the line against the Giant eventually as well. And as he scoop slams him in Detroit, he will be arrested. This is where he beat his father at WrestleMania 3. So Hogan's saying that he's going to slam the Giant and beat him like he did Andre the Giant in the same city of Detroit. Plus, he's talking about how his monster truck's going to be his monster truck. It's not booked for Halloween Havoc yet, but it will be. They show a video package about Luger calling Savage jealous, a personal agenda that both men have aspirations for being world champion. Bottom line, he cheap shot at him at War Games. Luger wants to take on the big boys, and there's no bigger boy than Macho Man, said Savage. And he said last week that all they were missing was a ref. Ding, 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 says Savage hilariously. This week, Macho Man is still with Mean Gene, and he says a word on the street is Luger wants to talk. He goes, I'm here, where is he? Luger shows up. Luger says, Macho Man, the problem is a severe lack of respect. And Savage goes, oh, really? And Luger then says, anyone who slaps Luger crosses the line. Savage accepts the challenge next week on Nitro. This thing is, they make a stipulation where Luger says that if he doesn't win in the Mile High City in Colorado, Denver next week, that he's going to leave the WCW forever. So Savage says, that's cool. Kurosawa with Colonel Robert Parker versus Sergeant Craig Pittman, who's called the Pitbull at times. Kurosawa's manager, Colonel Robert Parker, kissed Sherry last week off the apron and cost Harlem Heat the tag titles. So here he is in this match managing Kurosawa. Nonetheless, before the ring bell hit, Sergeant Craig Pittman, who I'll review to as Pittman, missed a high kick and a flying headbutt, but Pittman channels his inner JYD and hits headbutts to Kurosawa. Kurosawa came back with nice kicks. He reminds me of Shinsuke Nakamura. Kurosawa with all these spinning heel kicks to Craig Pittman, they call the Pitbull on commentary. A running snapmare. Kurosawa kicked with Pittman down. Kurosawa with the arm, he torqued it overhead with the overhead wrist lock, and the Colonel has to love what he's seeing this far out of him. out of Kurosawa. The arm has torqued over a standing armbar by Kurosawa to Pittman. They went outside the ring and Pittman shoves Kurosawa into the apron arm first. Now more arm work by Kurosawa as he slams him onto the canvas. Arm first. Pittman with a standing headbutt and belly-to-belly overhead suplex. Another headbutt and a lying armbar. Code red, he called it. He didn't quite lock it in as Kurosawa goes for the arm, but Pittman gets a gut-wrench suplex. In the end, a go-behind, standing switch, belly-to-belly suplex, and then Kurosawa got the 3 count at 4:26. So an impressive win. Good little wrestling match here. I rated it at 2 stars. It was only went 4.5 minutes. Pillman on the microphone with Arn Anderson next says, Pillman says Flair has been nothing since Fall Brawl, since he lost to Arn Anderson. Pillman talks about how he has rights, a right to assemble, a right to do this, a right to exercise. Arn Anderson grabs the mic and says he knows Rick in too many ways, but understand one thing, the better man won at Fall Brawl. Rick says, remember the form. He says, you know the formula, Rick. If you're going to get in a tag situation, you might ask people who bring up Flair's pasts with everyone's name. Arn had to watch his back. But now he might not be so easy to find a partner due to all the burnt bridges that Arn Anderson brings up with Ric Flair. So who's going to tag with Flair? Arn wonders. For a tag match. That is one they want to set up between Pillman and Arn against Flair, but who's gonna tag with Flair was Arn's point because of all the bridges he's burned. Next, we got the Taskmaster with Zodiac versus the Macho Man Randy Savage. Savage in action on Nitro here. The Zodiac was Brutus Beefcake, or the Disciple for people who don't know. Macho Man gets it on with one of the bookers for people who don't know. The Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan, he's also a booker for WCW at the time. So the fact that he's called the Taskmaster, I don't know if that's a word shoot or what, but it's ironic. Savage attacked by Sullivan, Macho Man down by the guardrail. This only makes Savage want more with a big boot to the head. Sullivan drops lefts and rights. The Zodiac takes shots to Savage on the outside. Macho Man comes back with the double axe handle and flying clotheslines. Savage then threw the referee out of the way, which gets him disqualified at 2:58. Afterwards, the Giant then attacked the Macho Man with a chokeslam. Wrestlers from the back try and save Macho Man, but they get chokeslammed. Then Lex Luger comes running to the ring to try and help Macho Man up, but then he gets chokeslammed by the Giant. So I rate the match with Macho Man 1.5 stars. But as far as this goes, this was just beat down on the Macho Man and Luger and anyone that came to the ring by the Giant. Next up, we have Mang versus Lex Luger, and Luger's already down in the middle of the ring, so it's going to be really hard for him to fight back against Mang, who's one of the toughest men legit in the wrestling industry. So that's and Hogan and Bischoff says that Hogan will be on Raw next week as well as that Savage Luger match where Luger's career's on the line. So Mang, one of the real tough guys in the business, took it to Luger after he got chokeslammed by the Giant before the match even began in the main event. He hit a trapezius hold on Luger. He held a sleeper on Luger for 2 minutes. Bischoff points out that Luger, Savage, and Hogan have all fallen from the Dungeon of Doom. Luger digging into the back with his feet. Luger takes, as he starts to wrestle back, Luger says takes Mang's face first into the mat as he came off the top. Mang lets go a hard chop running to the knee. Luger then with a big boot. Luger pushed him off his boots. Luger with a hard clothesline, but to Mang, it slowed him down. Luger then is in trouble as Mang has a spike from his trunks, and he hits the throat of Luger with a 3 count at 6:46. I rated it 2 stars. Mang defeated Luger due to the spike he had, and the Giant destroyed him before the match. That's why Luger lost the match. So next week, Hogan will be on, and Macho Man will take on Luger. So that's going to be a good Nitro next week. And again, Nitro's rating was a 2.4 2 weeks back on TV last week and lost by 0.8. This week, it's the exact opposite. Last week, they scored 1.9 and Raw scored 2.7. This week, Raw scored 1.9 and Nitro scored 2.7. So the last 2 Nitros, I had a 6 out of 10. And again, quality-wise, you got to look at it from a 1-hour show and what they can do with that. So I rate this show a 5.5 out of 10. I think they had a good Savage Luger confrontation, and thanks to everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying the reviews. if you can go back and relive the Monday Night Wars, these reviews aren't going anywhere, so you can always rewatch them whenever you plan to do it. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.